Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We are here today with Rams super fan Jason. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Let's go, Rams, baby. Let's go. Woo!
So tell me a little bit about like when did you first become a Rams fan?
I became a Rams fan in 2016 when the Rams moved to LA. I didn't have a team for 10, 20 years when the Rams and Raiders moved away. But when Rams came back, got my first ever season tickets for any sports, and the rest was history.
Yeah, and since then, two Super Bowl appearances, one title. How do you compare
Woo!
being a Rams fan to being something like, a Dodgers fan or a Lakers fan or one of those other LA teams that's been a little bit more, ingrained in the culture here in Los Angeles?
You know what? I really feel lucky because we after the Jeff Fisher year, it was really tough. I couldn't even give tickets away. That's the truth. But then when Sean McVay came, wow, this is what I tell everyone: winning cures all. And when Sean McVay came, they became like the Dodgers and Lakers for reals. In my book, they became like the Dodgers and Lakers.
Yeah. And then what inspired you to start like posting a lot on Twitter and sharing all the Rams content?
Yeah, for me, I wasn't too big on Twitter before, but after our Super Bowl win in 2022, I just made it a mission for LA to be all Ramily. And ever since then, I just started building up a community of Rams fans, and we all had the same love, the Rams, and just kept it going.
Yeah. And then what's the story behind your username? 'Cause I don't know if
Three. When I was a kid, you know, people used to call me an OG just for I don't even know. We used to play sports and stuff, so it just stuck with me. And Nam is my last name, and 213 is the area code we're in. So it just happened to be OG Nam 213 for about 20 years.
there you go. So far, I've seen you on Twitter. You have a lot of different experiences. What's been your favorite Rams experience over the past couple of years?
Man, I honestly I have too many to list, but one that stands out is last season when we went to Arizona with the 38 buses. We kind of had a part in it where we were looking for fans to go with us on a van to go to Arizona, but that ended up being hundreds of fans wanting to go with us. And someone tagged my post to Kevin Demoff, and he saw that. And from that, it turned into 35 buses from the Rams and 3 buses from Kelly Stafford. And I would say
That's
that
awesome.
was my most memorable moment.
Yeah. And then what was that like just like being bussed down to Arizona and then the playoff game and not, the home atmosphere is crazy.
Man, one of the best moments of my life. Everyone that came on the bus, most people came by themselves. So most of us were solo, but all of us gravitated towards the Rams, and for the love of our Rams, it just felt like a big family trip going to Arizona, and it was the best bus trip ever. We were tired, but it was fun.
Yeah. And then you mentioned Korean barbecue event. Tell me a little bit more about how you set that up. And then JB Long, which of the Rams also attended.
This is a story. Well, a couple seasons back, I always wanted to do a Korean barbecue for the Rams fans because, I don't really see a big Asian impact, and I want to see more of an Asian impact. But one day we're like just throwing it out there like, hey, we're going to have a Rams Korean barbecue. Would anyone like to attend? And out of nowhere, JB Long wanted to come. And from there, we just try to work with JB's time, and we had some time with them after the draft, and we were able to do the Korean barbecue in Asian American, the Pacific Islander month. So it worked out really well, and everyone that came enjoyed their time, and we decided to do it as an annual thing. In the Asian American month, I have a Korean barbecue for the Rams house.
That's awesome. Speaking of Rams house, I always thought it was interesting that that's what the slogan that they chose for, new at SoFi and everything. And people always make a comment about, oh, they don't have any real fans. How would you say, being season ticket holder and all, have you seen the energy over the past couple of years just really kind of grow in size and the fan base grow in size as well since the Super Bowl?
I definitely have. Especially after the Super Bowl win, I've seen so many die-hard, passionate Rams fans that have come out to the games and giving it their all, cheering for our fans. And even though sometimes we do get sold out by the other fans, I see the fans that are going crazy for our team. And they stand out even though they're in the wave of red 49er jerseys or whatever, I see the people that stand out. And when we're cheering, I really feel whenever we cheer, the players like feed off that energy. So whenever I'm there and the fans that I always see, we give it our all. And we see it on the field when we get the W's.
And then I also saw you were at the draft house. Tell me a little bit more about like that
Oh my
experience. You got to
gosh,
meet
that is
McVay.
such a funny story. Well, I wanted to go visit the draft area at Hermosa Beach, and the day I went on a weekend on a Saturday, and they didn't have the events on Saturday. So I was really bummed out, but I remember seeing the draft house on the Rams Instagram and social media accounts, and I kind of went on a drive looking for the house, and I actually found the house because I saw a couple other Rams fans like just walking around the house taking a look, and I saw Coach McVay, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to meet him today. So I got to hang out in front of the draft house for about 7, 8 hours in front of the house, but luckily the Rams security were very friendly to me, and I was having a great time with the perfect weather. Beautiful people walking by, and honestly, I was enjoying my time out there. And I saw all the coaches going in and out. I even heard them drafting the players. Literally, I heard Les and Sean talking. And I was just trying to be very respectful. And the security guards, they gave me an opportunity to meet Coach McVay at the end. And Coach McVay was very generous with this time and gave me like a couple minutes to talk to him. And I will cherish that forever.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And then you mentioned you gave Jared Verse a chain. How did that go down?
Oh my God. See the chain I'm wearing right now?
Yeah.
Mine's a spinner, the original OG one. But I have a non spinning one that I gave to Jared Verse during the Arizona wildcard game. And the crazy thing is, when he made his first touchdown ever, he wore the chain. And it was all over TV. And I was like, wow, that's the chain I gave him. And if you
That's awesome.
remember, they made the record, the 9.5 sacks for that game for the playoff record. And every time they made a sack, they gave that chain to that person that made the sack. And it was just an
You made it.
unbelievable moment.
Yeah. And then if you were to pick, what would you say is the best draft pick of the past couple of years?
Last couple of years,
Last like
Jared
3 years.
Verse. Oh,
Verse.
Verse. Yes, sir.
There we go. And then
Rookie of the year.
let's talk uniforms. Uniforms are something that the Rams are getting new of this year. And you got the Jared Verse jersey on. So let's talk a little bit more about Rivals uniforms because the Rams are getting a new set of uniforms. Not sure yet if it's the whole helmet and the uniform, but we know it's at least the jersey and the pants set. So let's talk uniforms. First off, would love to get your opinion on different helmet shells. Just mock these up really quick. And first off, we have the set of blue. Changed out the face mask from just a normal blue face mask on the first two to a yellow face mask here and then a white face mask and then blue shell with white horns. So what do you think about the blue shell set here?
I really love that blue. The shine on that blue and the brightness just pops so hard. I feel like it blinds the other player. I love them all.
Yeah, what do you think just about the uniforms in general? Because I know that that's something that Rams fans are kind of a little split on. Some people like the gradient, some people don't. Personally, I think that they're a set that can be improved upon with just like minor tweaks, but as of now, they're kind of like not entirely there. Like there's room for improvement, in my opinion. What's your opinion?
My opinion is I honestly like the gradient because it's different. And not many teams have the gradient in the NFL, and I do understand some fans like that solid hard yellow white or the yellow, but I don't know. I just like the different style. I might be the minority here, but I love the gradient. I just love it.
Yeah, I've also seen people complain about like the little name tag you have there too, instead of it being like above the numbers instead.
You know what? I always like to think about what Jim Everett said. The new uniforms, they're not for the older fans, they're for the newer fans.
Mm,
Honestly, I feel like a newer fan, even though I'm going into my 10th season as a Rams fan, and
yeah.
I like it
It
on the
is unique.
uniform.
I know people have been kind of split on the past couple years, even when they release with the new logos and everything. But I think if you just kind of add another good like uniform, as they're gonna hopefully gonna do in the next couple of months to the set, then it could be like a really good top of the league set. And recently I saw on Twitter that the Rams were, I think, top 5 and people voted on the best helmets.
Yeah, top four, top two in the
Top
NFC.
4. So I think they have a great helmet, and you got an interesting looking helmet in the back. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that before we continue?
Oh, that's the LAFD. and Rams collab fire helicopter pilot helmet. I was lucky enough to win the auction for the one of one LAFD helicopter helmet, and I really wanted this because you know how I told you about our Arizona wild
Yeah,
card bus trip. I just had to have it for my personal collection, and I was lucky enough to
yeah.
get it, and it's
Yeah,
one of
that's
the
a really
most
cool
beautiful
just
pieces.
yeah, that's definitely a really unique and cool fan memorabilia, so shout out to all the firefighters out there.
Yes, sir. Shout out to all of them. Yeah, for everyone that went through the fires, we still pray for you guys and hopefully you guys return to your home soon.
Yeah, and moving on to black helmet show. We got a black
Woo!
helmet with a blue horn, a black helmet with a yellow horn, and a black helmet with a gold horn. So I thought
Hmm.
gold horn, maybe they're gonna try to throw it back to St. Louis. I don't know. It's probably less likely that they do that because they probably want to leave that era kind of behind them.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good guess of what it could be if it was a black helmet.
I honestly like that black and blue one. I don't know. There's just something about it. Just I like new and different things, and that black
The
and
black
blue just looks.
with the yellow horns exists as part of like the alternate series from Riddell. And they have like those ones that
Yeah.
like the players sign. So that one exists already, but not just on the field is the only thing.
I want the new one. The never seen before.
And then third option, yellow shell. We have yellow
Ooh.
shell with black horns, yellow shell with blue horns, and yellow shell with white horns. A couple of these exist already too. The middle one is just the normal helmet, just inverted colors. So instead of blue and yellow, it's yellow and blue. What are your thoughts on these?
I like all of them, but I'll give you a personal choice. I like the middle one, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I actually got to meet Matthew Stafford 2 weeks ago at the Rams Football Academy. His daughters were wearing the yellow jerseys with the helmet color, the yellow and the blue
Or
inverted
just kind of like an
colors.
inverted version of that?
Yeah, the daughters are wearing that jersey, and my daughters or Stafford's daughters were being really nice to my daughter, and that the jersey they're wearing looked just like that middle helmet, the yellow with the blue. Man, if you see that jersey in person with that helmet, it just pops so hard with that yellow and blue. I would pick the middle
Yeah.
one, but I like all of them.
I think that that's definitely something that they have in mind is like from a couple of years ago, the color rush uniforms where it's just all yellow and then it was the navy on the
Yeah.
sleeves and the accents. So I think an
Did
all
you like
yellow
that?
is definitely one of the top like in play
Yeah, right.
uniforms for the Rebels.
Man, that color rush jersey, one of the best.
Finally, we've got a white shell. First, we have
Woo.
a pure white with the blue horns. Then I used a bone color to match the bone uniforms. No one gives love to the bone
Oh,
uniform or these
that's unique.
days. And then a white shell with a yellow horn.
I like all of them, but the first one kind of looked like Indianapolis Colts, huh?
A little bit. I think
uh,
this one kinda turned the yellow one kinda turned out a little Chargers looking too, so probably this is
I
not
like
that
that bone one
thinking.
though. Yeah, that
Yeah.
bone one looks tough. Like, wow.
Yeah, I think it's a little
Uh,
off-white with the that makes the color really pop.
man, that looks bad. Oof.
Moving on to full sets. Finally, we have some full uniform sets here. What do you think is just your favorite now seeing it on mocked up on some players?
You know, I really like that blue and white. I don't know. I don't know. It's that blue and white really gets me. But if I was gonna go something really different, I would go with that yellow one on the way bottom right.
Yeah.
That was the one that Stafford's daughter was wearing, that jersey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they
I don't
have
know.
I know they have, like, a couple different ones for kids, it's just, like, inverted kinda like that.
Yeah.
But
But
I
you know
think in
what?
the
I would. Uh-huh.
likelihood that that happens, I think that they're probably gonna try to do something new, which is what I went for with some of the other ones. If you remember the Super Bowl, when they released the Super Bowl jerseys, they had, like, supply chain issues, so they just had, like, plain black ones. That's kinda what the
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember that. Man. Was that official?
that was
That was
their
just
official one
for
because they didn't know who was
what
gonna
to
be in the
do with
Super
them, huh?
Bowl. Yeah, so they just kinda did, like it isn't the official one doesn't have the striped horns on the sleeves, it just
Uh-huh.
has the 9. Yeah,
You know,
so
if we're gonna go with something all new, and I don't know. I just really love that blue and white. Just looks so cool.
yeah. The blue and
Yeah.
white, even this top one?
Yeah. The top
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, it's just this it's the current uniform with, all white instead of yellow everywhere, so I think that that's definitely a possibility. I know that the bottom the one below that, the white base with the blue accents is a throwback in a sense to, like, the, fearsome foursome era. That
Yeah,
that
you're
is
right.
definitely a
Yeah.
possibility as well. It just depends on what kind of era they want to throw it back to.
Yes, definitely. Just that blue and white. I don't know. It's like a Dodger Rams collab or something.
Is the Rams collab?
It's
Could
beautiful.
be.
Yeah,
LA is just a city of blue.
you know it.
And then wrapping up with some roster talk here. How are you feeling about the team heading into 2025 from just a fan perspective? I don't want to hear undefeated. I know that's where you want to go, but realistically,
You know
what
what? I'm
would you
gonna be
say?
real this season, and I really feel that we can go to the Super Bowl and win with the talent we have. But the injury on the offensive line is kind of scaring me a little bit. But I think our guys can pull together, and I really feel Alaric will be back sooner than later. And with our cornerback issues, I saw Forbes at the Rams Football Academy, and I was pleasantly surprised how much more weight he gained. He had some big guns on his arms, and I was like, "Is that Forbes?" And I really feel they're all gonna take a step up, and they're gonna come through this season and play better than last season, which is saying a lot. So I really like our squad, and with the addition of Devontae, whew, I think the offense is just gonna be way more open, wide open now. So I can't wait.
Absolutely. I think that the main focus this kind of offseason was the red zone because past couple of years in
Yeah.
the red zone, it's just been Kyron all day. But I know that they probably are trying to get Matthew some more looks in the red zone in the passing game. So I think that, Devontae and Terrence Ferguson are both going to kind of
Yes,
open that up a
definitely.
little bit more for them.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for Terrence, man. I want to see his speed.
And then who do you think is going to be the breakout star of this year?
Breakout star.
Someone we may not know, someone
You
that's a little
know,
under the
I
radar.
honestly think it would be Devontae Adams. When he came to the Rams, he said he felt rejuvenated, and I have a feeling he's gonna be going for that top wide receiver role this season with Matthew Stafford and Puka by his side.
Yeah, my pick,
Both 1A.
honestly, Tutu Atwell. I think for the
Yes,
same
sir.
reasons, he can, step into that wide receiver 3 role, good deep threat. They finally
Uh,
are gonna commit to using him because they signed him again, so I would hope that they would commit to giving him some action.
You're right.
And
Tutu
then
does get separation, and I hope this is his season.
and then what are your expectations for Stafford? Recently,
Ooh.
when writing an article for LAFB Network, and quarterbacks in their age when they're age 37 or older tend to drop off a little bit in play, but Aaron Rodgers in 2020, I think it was, won his MVP at 37. So, are we looking to like those guys? Because most quarterbacks don't even play past their 30s. So for the guys to play into their late 30s, early 40s, almost like Tom Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, what are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting 1 or 2 more years of all pro level quarterbacking from Stafford. I saw him at the Rams Football Academy again, and I got to say, this season was the most happy and healthiest I have ever seen Stafford ever in my life. Because every season it seemed like he was coming off some type of injury or he
Mhm.
wasn't 100%. But this season, seeing him, I felt that. I felt that confidence in him, and he's ready. I asked him too, are we going to win Super Bowl? And he said he really likes his chances. And I really felt it. And I'm telling you right
Yeah.
now, he looked the happiest ever and just the healthiest ever.
And wrapping us
He's
up
going to
today,
dial it up.
what is your message to Rams fans in general? Rams fans maybe that are Raiders fans right now that are just LA sports fans in general.
You know what? I will tell you guys, I was once a Raiders fan. Raiders were my team. But I tell me and my brother, it's just me and my brother, and we always tell each other our best sports decision in our life was going to the Rams when they moved to LA in 2016. And the one message I would like to give our Ramily fan base is, you know what? Even if you're the only one out there cheering for our team, cheer for them as loud as you can because what you do, the players feed off that. And I'm a real believer in that. I actually sit on the visitor side for my season tickets, and sometimes I'm by myself out there, but I get crazy. I always come on the Oculus. But you know what? You got to get crazy so the team goes crazy. So I want to tell all our Ramily, even if you're by yourself, go crazy for our Rams.
Okay. That'll do us today. Thank you so much.